I was an only child, and my parents both had to work evening and night shifts frequently. They were doctors, you see. So for me, that meant total freedom when they were away. I had long gotten accustomed to them not being around sometimes, and I honestly relished in my time alone, giving me time to draw and make things out of clay, which are one of my passions and hobbies to this day. I was home alone, like I would be on most nights, and I think I was trying to draw something complicated as part of a school project. I was just smashing away with my pencils when I heard something downstairs. People were talking. I thought I was insane. I started making my way down the stairs, thinking that my parents had gotten home early. It was exceptionally early for them to arrive. I started talking back to them, asking why they had arrived so soon, and as I reached the bottom step to look around the corner, the talking completely stopped. I looked around, and there was no one home. Could there have been an intruder, I thought? I went to grab the door handle, pushed it down, and sure enough, the door was locked, both the back and the front. No windows were open, and no one had opened them in a while, it being winter and all. After giving a brief check, I was 100% certain that there was no way anyone was in this house. Confused and thinking that perhaps my mind was playing tricks on me, I ascended the stairs again to continue my drawing. But not 20 minutes later, the talking started up again, this time more animated. It sounded more like 5 or 6 people having an energized conversation. This time, I was confident that I wasn't mad. With more caution, I began to descend the stairs. I listened, sitting there, sure that they were saying something. I was trying to pick up on their words, but I couldn't really hear them. It was almost as if they were speaking a bit too fast for their words to understand. But I could pick up little bits and was sure they were speaking English. When I hit the bottom step and started to turn to go towards the kitchen, the noise all of a sudden stopped. I ran in, but there was no one there. At this point, I was beyond terrified. I called up my grandma, who lived 10 minutes away, and asked her to come and collect me, giving no explanation. When my parents got home at 2 a.m., I was still awake and told them what had happened. My dad sat down with me on the sofa and explained something that I will never forget. That these noises had happened for a long time and that he was surprised I hadn't heard them sooner. But they're nothing to worry about, and he didn't know what they were, but it's best just to leave them be. I was incredibly unsatisfied with that explanation, and sure enough, from time to time, the noises would start up again. Sometimes it would be a few, sometimes it would be many, but consistent they would be. We didn't live in that house long after that, and I almost forgot about this experience entirely, but it is one of the many mysteries of life that has weighed on my mind. Let's go all the way back to the mid-80s. We lived in the suburbs in a close-knit community, so I never had worries. 11-year-old me is home alone during summer break from school. My mom and dad both worked, so I was just chilling in the living room, blasting the stereo with the front door open. So, a bit of backstory. My cousin was dating a guy named Jeff. They're married now with kids. Me and him hit it off instantly. He was a few years older but treated me like a little brother, so we'd talk and pester each other quite a bit. At this time, we were fairly new in the friendship. He would call to check up on me. The phone rings, and at this time, I didn't have all the fancy things like cell phones or even caller ID. We had a push-button phone, which we brought to replace the old-school rotary dial phone not too long before then. The conversation goes like this. "Hello, what's going on?" I think. "Cool, it's Jeff." "Nothing. Just hanging around the house." "Are your parents home, Jeff?" "Near my parents worked, but perhaps he thought it was their day off." "No, they're both at work, man." "Ah, okay. So what are you wearing?" This is a bit of an odd question. Is Jeff just messing with me? "Oh, just a t-shirt and shorts." "Are you wearing underwear?" It dawned on me at this moment that it's not Jeff. It sounded like him, but my gosh, it wasn't him. "Who is this? David? David who?" "David Sanders." "What do you want?" "I just want to talk to you." I have to go. Okay, see you soon. I hang up. At this point, my mind is racing. I have no idea what just happened. Who the hell did I speak to? And, well, I told him that my parents weren't home. Wait, did he just say, talk to you soon? Nah, okay. I've heard of prank calls before. Someone was just calling random people and messing with them for sure. It must have been that. For about 20 or so minutes, I'm roaming around my house with the door open, blasting music, and trying to shake off the call. My mind keeps repeating that last line, see you soon. There's no way he could have been serious, right? Okay, let's go ahead and shut and lock the front door just to be sure. 3 minutes later, there's a knock on the door. I walk up to the front without opening and ask through the door, who is it? It's David. No way. I step to the window by the door and peek out. Sure enough, it's a guy in his mid-20s, smiling, giving me a wave. This cannot be happening. What do you want? I just want to hang with you. My mind is blank. What do I say? What do I do? My dad is home. He's in the bathroom. Oh, okay. I know, way can it be this easy? Of course not. I see the doorknob start to turn. This guy is trying to get in. Fortunately for me, it's locked. I wait a few seconds and look at the window. No one's there. Wait, what was that? I hear someone in the bushes by the front bedroom. I run there and see the guy is trying to open the window. He tries the next one and the next one, but they're all locked. If I'd have been an adult, I would have dialed 911 as soon as he showed up and spoken to him through the door until they arrived. But as an 11-year-old, I called my mom. After that day, my parents set up a system. They would call, let it ring, hang up, then call again, and of course, don't leave the door open. I never heard from David again, though when I was older, I sure thought I would have liked to, and to explain to him why he shouldn't be there chatting up young boys. This happened in 2003 when I was very young. At the time, I lived in a small condo, 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, and a connected living room and kitchen with an island between, and a spiral staircase with random miscellaneous things stored underneath. I was living with my dad and a mother who was out of the picture. It was Saturday, and I remember specifically watching the TV show, codename Kids Next Door. I was in my bedroom after waking up, and my dad worked a lot of the time, but was such a nice guy that he left the TV on Cartoon Network as he knew it was my favorite channel. During a commercial, I got up to go to the toilet, but even though I knew I was home alone, I closed the door out of instinct. Boy, am I glad about that. The next thing I comprehended was the sound of my incredibly noisy spiral stairs that can be heard literally across the condo because of how small it is. They began to rapidly make noise that got quieter over the course of about 2 seconds, telling me that whatever made the noise was going downstairs, and fast. As I was quite young, this was extremely concerning because, as I said, my dad always turned the TV on before he left for work, and so I knew he was long gone. So what did I do? Well, as anyone my age would have done, I half thought I imagined it, and I walked out of the bathroom and looked over the 3-foot-long railings across from the bathroom door and next to where I would walk down the stairs. And what did I see? None other than an afraid-looking man looking into my living room but staying hidden under the stairs. After being terrified in the bathroom, I made a distinct effort to be quiet, like a spy, so that there was no way he knew I was looking at him, but he more than likely knew that I was in the house. Okay, so there's a man in the house. I can yell at him to leave, and perhaps something bad will happen to me. Either way, there's no exit upstairs, only a balcony with a screen door that had been jammed for years. Even if I somehow got it unstuck, it was a 15-foot drop, and that would be no good. So, the only exit was the front door. Big hide. I opted for option B. I waited for what felt like hours but was, in reality, no more than 20 minutes until I heard shuffling downstairs. then the sound I was praying for: the front door opening. I was still extremely skeptical, even thinking it was a trap to lure me down, so I stayed put all day in view of the TV, by the way, until my dad came home, who I didn't tell about the whole incident out of fear. I thought that he would be mad at me, so I didn't approach him. Nothing valuable was missing from the house, but you're sure as hell did I check on the stairs every morning when I walked down them for the next 3.5 years of living there. Why he was there, I have no idea. How he was there, I have a pretty reasonable theory. Simply, my dad forgot to lock the door behind him after he left. This man was trying doors in order to get in to make a quick buck, but got cold feet when he was in there. That's my best theory, and I'm glad I never had to find out. This encounter happened when I was about 10 years old. My sister and I were home alone since it was during the summer. Both my mom and grandmother were busy and therefore could not stay home with us. We were used to being alone during the summer, so it was not a big deal. The only thing we could do was not go outside nor open the door if someone knocked. During this day, I had gotten up and started to play The Sims 2 in our kitchen. My sister was watching TV in our den. A few hours into gaming, I thought I heard the doorbell ring. At first, I thought it was my game, but I had turned off the sound. So, I asked my sister if she heard the doorbell. She replied that she had not, and said it was probably just the show she was watching. I brushed it off and resumed playing my game. About 10 minutes later, I see a reflection on my computer of a man in a suit, his hands cupped around his eyes, looking through the glass door behind me. I turned around to be face to face with this strange man, who I had never seen before in my life. I had no idea how long he had been watching me. He waved at me like he knew me from somewhere. I called my sister's name, who would not notice the man yet, and she grabbed the home phone quickly to call my grandmother. Now, we had seen salespeople before, but none of them looked like this guy. He was wearing a full-on black suit that did not fit him. If not strange enough, this guy was wearing a full suit in 99 degrees and was also carrying a briefcase. All the salespeople I had seen only ever carried a clipboard, maybe a few flyers, but this man had a briefcase. The next flag that came with this guy was when he walked around our house to come to the back door, during which his little trip he would have seen that there wasn't a car in the driveway, indicating that no one was home. As I was getting up to hide, the man reached down and grabbed the doorknob. He started jiggling it forcefully. Thankfully, the door was locked. He looked at me, smiling, gestured at me to come and unlock the door. Feigning all the noise he had been making had now set off our 75-pound Labrador mix, making her go absolutely mad. No way was she going to let that guy in. My sister tells me our grandmother is now on her way, and she wanted us to hide in the back of the house in her room until she could get home. My sister hands me the phone, then runs into the kitchen to grab the biggest knife we have. I can hear her yelling at the guy that we had called the cops. She comes back into the room with me, and we close the door. She tells me that she lied about calling the cops, and said that he started laughing like she had just told him the funniest joke he had ever heard. A little while later, we hear the door open, and it's my grandmother calling us. We come out to meet her, and she tells us that the man was nowhere to be seen. She'd walked around the house before knocking on the door. She also thought it was weird that if he was the salesperson, he would have left a note saying, "Sorry, we missed you." She ended up taking the rest of the day off to stay with us, all so she could watch to see if the man would come back around. It's been 11 years since this encounter, and I still do not want to know what was in his briefcase. Hey there, hope you enjoyed these stories. If you can, please like and subscribe. I would appreciate it. See you next time.